And welcome to Roadside Notes. I'm Christopher, the Route 66 chaplain, and these are readings from the Faith and Good Courage Journal found at faithandgoodcourage.com. These are stories from and for the road. It's a little grace for the miles ahead and reminders that, well, hope still travels with us. This is for Thanksgiving dinner on the road, pie for strangers, for Thanksgiving Day, November 27th, 2025. So the smell of turkey and coffee met us at the door when Mary and I stepped into a small cafe off Route 66 in Flagstaff. It was Thanksgiving night. The rush had come and gone, and the kitchen was living on the bottom of the pans. You know what I mean. Gravy clung to the sides of metal trays, stuffing had, well, that last scoop look. The pies were down to slivers and crumbs, and, well, nobody seemed bothered by it. The room felt warm and grateful, and in some simple way, only travelers will recognize this. Sometimes Thanksgiving dinner on the road is less about the menu and more about the mercy. Mary and I found a small table near the window. Outside, the glass fogged at the edges from the cold. Inside, the air carried that soft clink of forks, the sliding of plates, and the rise and fall of tired voices happy to be somewhere together. There was a truck driver with sunburned arm, a family with maps folded on the seat beside them, a young couple sharing a single plate like it was a promise. And across the room, someone laughed the kind of laugh that says we made it through another year. The waitress apologized to us for what they no longer had, which only made what remained feel more like a gift. And an older couple took the table beside us. They were holding hands across the salt and pepper like it was a habit learned over a lifetime. The waitress came back and, with her kind face, told them the pumpkin pie was gone. The man nodded. The woman smiled, but it was the kind of smile that tries to hide a small ache. You could see it in her eyes. The holiday, not quite the same without that last bite of tradition. Well, Mary saw it too, and without a word, she turned her plate, drew a clean line through her slice of pumpkin pie, and offered half to the woman. Her eyes widened in surprise and then softened with thanks. I followed suit and split my Dutch apple wedge, giving Mary the piece to pass along. It was not pumpkin, but it was sweet. It was honest, and it was enough. We talk like strangers do when the moment is bigger than the introductions. The couple had stated that they started their day before sunrise to make time for the mountain pass. They missed a son in another state and a grandchild who had just learned to ride a bike the week before. We spoke about long roads and short holidays, about the way the heart stretches when you share a dinner with people you did not plan to meet. 4 slices of pie. 4 travelers. One small act that made a crowded room feel like a family kitchen. I watched the room while the coffee cooled. A boy in a hoodie traded his rolls with his sister and called it even. A woman with a long day behind her poured refills with a tenderness that, well, belonged in a prayer. A man in a ball cap folded his hands for a quiet second before lifting his fork. Gratitude shows up like that. Not loud, not planned. It is the hush that falls when you realize you've been given enough for today. Later, the older woman touched Mary's arm and said, "Thank you, dear. That was the holiday for me." Her husband added that the cafe felt less like a stop and more like a home because of a couple of strangers with extra pie. And it struck me that we often measure holidays by what we do not have. The perfect table, the recipe that always works, the seat that should be filled. Yet the holiest parts of a day can come from the leftovers. The last spoonful of cranberry sauce, the final corner of a crust. The seat offered to someone who thought they were too late. As we stepped back into the cold, I thought about how many people were finding the same quiet grace along Route 66. A truck stop outside of Gallup. A counter stool in Winslow, a booth in Kingman, where the neon buzzes and the coffee never quits. Thanksgiving dinner on the road may not look like home, but it still feels like mercy when you make room for one more at the table. Maybe that's the secret the road keeps teaching us. Family is sometimes a choice you make between courses. My roadside reflection: holidays do not need perfect plates. They need open hands. Share what you have left. Have Thanksgiving dinner on the road with strangers. Offer the good piece. Look someone in the eye and let them know they're not alone. Gratitude grows when it's given away, and strangers become family one small kindness at a time. Travel well, my friends. Have faith and good courage.